All right, guys, welcome back. We are now going to be answering your guys' questions regarding nationals and pretty much anything that has to do with this coming weekend. So, hopefully, you guys have some good ones. Let's see what happened. All right, Mark Stark asked question number one. Said, with other TCGs like Magic and Yu-Gi-Oh, the aspect of having a side deck assists with making your deck flexible, while not just having an auto loss to a certain type of deck that you might have problems with. In the second game of a best 2 of 3 set. What are your thoughts about this with Pokemon? I understand that it's not feasible with the current format due to Swiss wouldn't be able to use it, and the normal aspect of having your deck built around a certain principle that it may not want to have a side deck due to non-flexibility. Just wanted to spark a discussion on would it actually be a beneficial addition to the game. It's interesting because we actually talked about this, not as a top cut, but as individual people, quite a bit in the earlier years, but we all came to the same conclusion that it just doesn't work with Pokemon. Do we still have that conclusion now?
Yes.
I mean, I thought it would maybe work, but the 15 card side would be way too much. It would have to be like at most 5, like at the very most 5 cards.
Thing is, Pokemon games take forever, and that's a big concern.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, that's kind of like depending on format. Sometimes games are much shorter, but sometimes they go super long.
Yeah, but I mean, would we ever really be able to fit a best 2 out of 3 in 30 minutes?
No. That would have to be. It would have to be at least 50 to like a 50-minute Swiss.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's really why it doesn't. I mean, there's several reasons why it doesn't work, but that's a pretty big one. What about you, Kyle? Do you think it could work or not, and why not, or why?
I don't think this ever works for Pokemon. It's just too easy to take 2 or 3 spots in your deck to completely counter another deck. For example, if I'm playing a Vanilla deck and I beat the first game, then you get the sideboard, you're like, oh, I am adding a 1/1 Espeon, or even 2/2 if you're allowed to add that many cards, and then all of a sudden my Vanilla deck doesn't work. It's way too easy to just tack in 1 or 2 cards to beat a deck completely. I mean, take example, if we had a sideboard at World last year, do you think Ross ever would have won?
Would they have really ever teched against them?
I mean, all it takes is, oh, you're playing that deck. I'm going to add Black Belt into my deck, and all of a sudden this isn't such a bad matchup. So, I don't know. I don't see it ever working for Pokemon, just because those 1 or 2 slots are much more powerful in Pokemon than I think they are in Magic. I don't play Magic, but I assume it's more powerful in Pokemon, just because I know that 1 card in Pokemon can completely swing a matchup. So I would hate to see that, actually.
Yeah, I mean, Pokemon has a lot of universal cards, and that's the biggest concern. It's like cards like Junk Arm, and basically these cards will go into every deck, not just like one or another, and that's really why side decks are created. Because of you can only put so many cards into certain decks. But either way, it's interesting to even talk about, but the truth is that Pokemon just wasn't designed with the sideboard in mind. So I don't think that would ever actually come for Pokemon. At least not until they completely redid the rules for it. Isaiah, did you have anything you wanted to add on to that?
I'm with Kyle. Like, there are cards that can completely shut down decks, and if you can sideboard, you're just like, your deck doesn't work anymore. Also, 15 cards is a lot. I feel like I could side deck like 4 Durants and like 11 Metal or something, and just be like, I'm running Durant now. Just completely change my deck. So, I don't know. I don't think it would work in Pokemon.
Okay. Matt Shank asks, which one, what's the Pokemon you would be most pants-crappingly terrified to run across in real life? So basically, which Pokemon would scare your pants off?
So, like, you're walking home late at night in a dark alley, and then you run into this Pokemon and you poop your pants. That's what he said.
Isn't Banette like killed its daughter or something like that?
No, Banette is Shuppet is a toy that's been thrown away, and then that spirit just kind of evolves, I guess, something like that.
Okay.
I'm gonna go with the next. That guy's crazy looking. Who knows what he could do?
Cloud?
You just
It's like
pops
cute
out.
little
Scraggy's evolution.
Scrafty.
No, not Scraggy. He's too small, but his evolution.
Scrafty.
Yeah, that
Scrappy.
one. Don't want to walk into him in a dark alley.
I don't know about you guys, but if alone in a dark alley with a Terrakion, I'm probably gonna poop my pants.
I was thinking Terrakion, but the
Hey,
thing
man,
is, like,
yeah.
it looks like something that you could just like get on top of and just like kind of ride the
Well,
victory.
then he
You know?
just kind of
Good luck with
rams
that.
you into the wall
The way-
and you die.
But the way Terrakion works, as long as you don't provoke it by knocking out one of his friends, he won't hurt you.
Exactly. So you just act nice to it.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think
I don't
you
know,
can
man.
make friends with one of those things.
Are you kidding me? I'm the most friendly guy on earth. I'll make friends with a Gengar if I really have to.
It's easy.
He
You
looks
just-
like the
Um,
kind of Pokemon that takes victims and then asks questions later.
See, what I would do is I would just pull out a Vileplume out of nowhere and be like, yeah, this guy shuts down your trainers, and you're weak to him.
I'd probably
I don't know.
be scared if like a Electro rolled around the corner, you know? Who knows what-
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's probably number one.
That's actually the worst. Because you have no time to react. You just, like, it just pops up. Electrode or Voltorb, both are bad. Like, they just pops up, and then you just see a big flash of light, and then all of a sudden you're just missing a leg.
I don't know, man. I mean, really, would a Pokemon want to mess with these guns? I don't think so.
Yes. If it
Uh,
was Electrode, it'd be like, whatever, self-destruct.
Have you seen the
She's like,
chase?
oh no, I gotta get at her.
Like, you try the pet Electrode, it just self-destructs. You try to, like, run away from Electrode, it follows you and self-destructs. Like, there's no getting away from that.
It's fast. It's a really fast Pokemon. It'll catch you.
It's a ball.
Yeah.
We are nerds. Nerds. We are nerds. Isaiah, do you have any answer you want to provide?
I would say Terrakion because I already have nightmares about it anyway. Just retaliating out of nowhere with the plus power, just the worst.
Alright. Andrew Huss asks, what do you guys think about Worlds being held in Japan or Europe? Is this possible in the future? I have quite a bit I want to say about that, but I'd like to hear what you guys have to say. We'll start with Pram.
I'd support it. I definitely think it shouldn't always be in the U.S. all the time. That's great for people in the U.S., right, who want to compete, but like it's not fair for the rest of the world who have to always come here. So I would like to see it in Europe or Japan. I think Japan would be appropriate, but I think I would like to go to Europe just for like an excuse other than going to Europe.
All right. Kyle?
Before I answer, I just want to say Gyarados would probably scare me too. I think that would.
Well, what if it was a Magikarp and you're like, look at this guy, and you kick him into the water, and then it just grows up right away?
Yeah, that would scare the crap out of me. But I would like to see it be held in Europe or Japan one day. I don't know how feasible it is financially, but it would be very nice to have it somewhere outside the U.S. or anywhere not Hawaii.
Yeah, Hawaii's pretty bad. Just cost-wise.
Yeah.
Okay. What about you, Isaiah?
I thought I just answered.
Yeah, it's called.
I mean, can you give a better answer? I shouldn't say better. I should say more detailed answer.
Maybe you should pay attention.
I think just seeing a Pokemon in general would creep me out because they're creatures that don't actually exist. Like, I don't know. There's a lot of Pokemon that would be scarier than others, but I guess, yeah, Terrakion would still be scary regardless, just because it's a giant bull, and if it was charging at me, I would just freak out.
Yeah, okay. Isaiah, there was a new question. There was a new question, bro.
There was a new question? Really?
Yes, there was. That's why I was like, really? I like how Pram called me out.
Oh,
It's like,
I'm-
you should
my
pay
bad.
attention.
About
I was like, oh god,
The question about
did I
Worlds,
really miss this? All right. The question was, Worlds. Would you ever like to see it be in Europe or Japan, and if so, why or not, or why not?
I would love Worlds to be anywhere else but Hawaii. I don't care where it is, just don't have it in Hawaii. Or at least a different island, please.
What about Guam?
All right.
As long as it's not Hawaii.
Good. Stick to
I
that
could
answer.
cut the cost a little.
All right, Drew.
Yeah, I'd love it. I'd like to actually see like the different demographics at the World, see how that changes the makeup. Like, will a ton of Europeans and a tournament in Europe, does that change it up at all from just the American-dominated event that we've been seeing? And of course, in Japan, you're gonna have just all those people that just don't get to come to Worlds every year. So I'd like to see that.
All right. Yeah, I would be a huge fan of seeing it be held in somewhere like Tokyo or basically anywhere in Japan. I think the game originated in Japan. It should be the World Championship should eventually be held there at least once. Huge, fan of that idea. Even if I don't get to go, just the game should actually be there for sometimes. And it'd be a great gift to all the Pokemon players, I think. Do I think it's feasible? Probably not. I mean, depending on their budget, I know that they have a lot of budget issues every year, and obviously something that big and something that major would take a lot of money. But it would be a great gift to the Pokemon community. So I'm all for that, and I do hope that it happens at some point in Pokemon's future.
Yeah, I think.
All right, Isaiah. Huh? You were saying, Kyle?
I think financially, it only makes sense to be in Japan, where Pokemon originates from, or the U.S., where we have headquarters. I don't think Europe would make quite as much sense.
I will say this, though. Europe has a huge fan base, a huge player base.
Yeah.
And if the game keeps growing, if the game continues growing, especially in Europe, I would love to see it done as a gift to them as well. Again, I understand where the budget issues come into play. I understand that, but if the game continues growing, there needs to be some sort of a response from Pokemon saying, "Hey, look, we hear you guys, and here you go. Congratulations. That you guys deserve this." That type of stuff goes a long way, I think, and it definitely goes a long way. Imagine a World Championship being held in Europe. Tell me that would not help grow the game over there. It would, absolutely. So I'm a big fan of that happening. I just don't know how feasible it actually is. All right, Jack Eiler asks Isaiah Middleton, "What's your favorite Good Luck Varsity song?"
I've only heard Lakes, so I'll just go with that.
All right. That's
Is
Good Luck.
that Evan Baker's band? Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just want to make sure, because I had no idea what he was talking about last time he asked that question.
All right. Jason Harry asks, "What do you think is going to do well at the Professor Cup?" What's the Professor Cup format?
Stage 1s are basics, and there are no basics allowed, and I forget what set they cut out. I think it's BW on.
Okay. Oh, there's absolutely going to be a broken combo there. There has to be.
Well, yeah, you can play
Stage 1s are basics?
Yeah, you can play down Electric as a basic.
That's pretty good.
Put down Chinchino as a basic, too.
Yeah. You can put down, like, Aerodactyls as basics. Or Archeops.
Not Archeops, Archen. Maybe.
Archeops,
Maybe
yeah,
Archeops,
it's
yeah.
Stage 1.
Yeah, but why would you ever evolve in that format?
Because, you don't want them to get to Seismitoad. Oh, no.
Yeah, shucks.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm trying to come up with a combo. I'm sure there are many.
It's like Salgor. That's just 50.
It's a Stage 1, so it would be a basic.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But there's no Vileplume.
I mean, either way,
Yeah.
you have things like Super Scoop will probably become really strong. I don't know. Good question. I wish if I did play the Professor Cup format, I'd definitely.
Oh yeah,
a better answer.
someone pointed out that you can't use Aerodactyl because it's a basic when you get it out of a fossil version. So Aerodactyl's not legal, but Archeops is. Yeah.
All right. Matt Sowerbury asked a very rude question, but he asked a question nonetheless. If you could force one Crim player to quit the game, who would it be? Crim doesn't get to answer this one. Well, Matt, I'm the boss of me, so I get to answer it if I want to. I just don't know if I want to yet. Pram, you go ahead and answer it first.
One current player to quit the game. Well, I'm gonna have to name someone good because I don't want to play against them.
That's the usual Mike Pram mentality. Yeah.
What? Let's see. Can we just go like quit the game for a specific event or just all time?
All time. Never to be seen again.
Oh, that's tough because I've.
I wonder if Isaiah's
go with
thinking on the
Tom.
questionnaire if he's...
Let's go with Tom Dozel because every time he shows up to an event, he
What?
just dominates.
You never want to see Tom again? Or you
No. I would want him to
What
come.
a rude dude, man.
I would want
I'm
him
gonna
to
tell
come.
Tom.
I would
You
want
better
him to
run.
Come. No.
Yeah.
I would want him to come.
Pam's dead.
I'm so sorry, Tom. I take it all back.
Getting smashed by the whole.
Please.
I loves burning bridges. This guy's sitting here with a lighter at all times.
Okay. Pass.
All right. Hey, let it be known that in the record books, Michael Pram wants Tom Dozel to quit. What about you, Kyle?
Does Newman still play? I don't know.
I would think so. Yes.
Taking
No,
the easy way
that's an easy choice. Otherwise, I'm going to
All right,
take
fine, let's assume he does.
my guy Jonathan Bagshaw that I described a couple weeks ago
All right.
as the weirdest player in the game. I just don't want to be around his furry stuff anymore.
Isn't he the cosplayer that has like that Pikachu tail
Yeah.
in Walmart or something like that?
Yeah, that's not a Pikachu, that's a foxtail. He has many of them. Sometimes he wears all of them at once.
So he's Ninetales.
By the way, Tom, you should take that
More like
as a
6.
compliment because I'm just saying you're really, really good.
Still true.
He's trying
He's
to
afraid for his life.
Dude, I'm telling you, I feel bad for Pram in a week. I feel really bad. You have not seen the man Hulk out yet. You're a dead man.
I have. I've seen it many times. That's why I'm like, oh, what did I just do?
All right, Isaiah. What about you?
It's a pretty mean question, but there is a guy
Very
locally.
dirty-
I think his name's Hudson Dew, and he purposely slow plays you during every game. Not even just because he's a slow player, but because he purposely just wants it to go to time so he can try and cheat you out of a win. And he's slow played against everybody, and everyone's just fed up with it. So it would have to be him.
See, you guys are naming like negative aspects of people. I'm like, hey, you know who's really good? Yeah, that guy.
I love Pram. All right, Drew. What about you?
I think I'm gonna go with Big Chuck 01. He's just a weird dude sometimes. He beat me at Nats in top 32.
Yeah.
I won't
You're
forget.
still better.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Or Gino, but toss up. We'll flip a coin.
Oh man, I love how
Chuck just like dances in front of Pooka.
Let's see here. I am going to answer this question, Matt. And you know why I'm going to answer this question? And you know why you didn't want me to answer this question? Because you knew I was going to pick you. Matt Sauerberg, I choose you to quit Pokemon for life. Rude dude. Matter of fact, I think he is quitting. So if you guys see that he quit Pokemon next year, it's not going to be because of him. Alright, here we go. I'm not going to say that. Alright, Nathan Brower. How many status decks do you think will be at Nats, and do you think Espeon is worth attacking? Basically, he's asking, will Vanillix, will the big double scooping ice cream cone of doom dominate
Or
Nats?
Selgor.
Or Excelgor, technically.
I think all this hype.
By
is
the way,
gonna-
I'll ask a second question here. Do you guys think Excelgor will be, first of all, popular, and second of all, relevant? By relevant, I mean actually good.
sure, seems good enough.
Okay.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Took second at Netherlands Nationals. Selgor.
Okay. So do you guys think it's going to be popular and relevant?
I think enough. I think there's starting to become enough hype, so where people will start playing Espeon, and if things work out well for the Espeon people, then they'll be playing against those status decks all day. If not, then they'll just miss each other, and who knows where the status decks will end up.
All right, Kyle.
It's actually really tough to decide whether or not to play Espeon in your deck because I do think the status decks are pretty good, to be honest, if they can manage to set up. The main argument I have against running like tech cards like Unknown Cure or Espeon is that the status decks are just so bad in 60-minute best 2 out of 3. I'm pretty sure that's where most of these decks just lose. They're good in Swiss because you can play a full game, but if you lose a single game in the best 2 out of 3, you're just out of the tournament. I'm pretty sure that's what happened at France's Nationals. I think that's where it was, where 4 Vanillux decks made top 16, and then they just all got eliminated in 60 minutes. And they all said, yes, time is your biggest enemy. So, I don't know if you have to actually worry about status decks if you make it into the top 128 or whatever they hold this year. It's just, do you think you're going to run into enough of them in the Swiss rounds for it to make a difference?
I guess it's whether, if you find out, hey, 60-minute cut, I will not be playing Espeon. Hey, 75-minute cut, I will be playing Espeon, is maybe the attitude a lot of people will be taking.
Okay. Isaiah?
I feel like it's definitely the go-to lock deck for Nationals, and there's always going to be those players that just love sticking with Vileplume-based decks. The Excelgor, Mew, Vileplume, Darkrai, Chandelure thing is definitely gaining popularity ever since Yoshi used it. And I honestly don't know if I want to run Espeon or not. I'm 50-50 right now.
Alright. What about you, Drew?
The thing about Nationals is it's such a big tournament. There's so many people. It's so diverse. And really, you would have to have a really extreme fear of Vanillux to throw an Espeon into your deck, because the odds of playing it are not really that high. And that's been my thing with Nationals every year. I try not to tech specifically for certain decks, but the bottom line is it's just how you feel going into the tournament. If that Espeon is going to make you feel warm and fuzzy inside, you should throw it into your deck, but otherwise, keep it out.
Now, this is an obvious question, but for example, if I was thinking of playing Vanillux, if I was sitting here literally contemplating playing Vanillux at the tournament, the first concern I would have would be, oh man, everybody's talking about Espeon. Maybe I can't play Vanillux just in the fear of people playing Espeon. This is a very solid concern. I mean, it's a very valid concern for people that are actually planning on playing either of these status decks. Do you think that's going to affect the numbers for these status decks? I personally think there's no doubt that it will. Just because trying to put myself in their shoes, like I said, the first thing I think about is Espeon exists. If enough people are worried enough to be able to tech for it, then I'm dead right there. And I don't want to have auto losses. A lot of people have to have that mentality, don't you think? Drew?
Yeah. I try to take the auto loss. I got the earthquake keyboard going on in the background.
Yeah, man.
Sorry.
Yeah. I would prefer to take the auto loss, but there's people like Chris Fulop that would just hate auto losses. They always got to throw those ones into your deck. It's just how you feel. Personally, I wouldn't run Vanillux ever, so if you're running that deck, you're probably a little crazy anyways. They're probably just sticking to their guns and going for it, man. They're gambling addicts. You gotta get your fix. 2 scoops at a time.
Man, I played Vanillux today against Pram in a couple games. Getting that quad tails is really heartbreaking. I was telling Pram too the whole time, dude, I can't imagine playing this deck at Nationals. Imagine like if I'm feeling like that energy as I'm rolling dice online. I can only imagine at an actual tournament with something on the line. Like if I'm in top 32 or something. Forget that, dude. Imagine just shaking while you're like rolling your dice because you know that quad tails is the end of you. And sure enough, right away I get quad tails, and I was like, well, all right. Well, that's it. But
well,
yeah,
remember,
I can't putting that on.
last format, Worlds and Nationals, where you flip Pokemon reversal every game.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. It's always going to happen, but you kind of want to minimize it if you can. Like, obviously, you had no choice but to play Pokemon reversals. You have a choice. You don't necessarily have to play Vanillux. But either way, that's neither here nor there. What about you, Isaiah? Do you think that Espeon's going to make people play less of these status decks? Or
Oh,
do you think we're gonna
definitely.
doubt it?
If I was a trainer lock player, I'd be like, well, if people are playing Espeon, then my deck just doesn't win, so why would I play this? But at the same time, they could think, well, if they think that I won't play this, therefore they won't play Espeon, then I can run this because no one will have Espeon. So I don't know.
It works both ways. It's really just
Yeah.
what do you feel like is going to happen, and hope your feelings came true.
And real quick, Pram or Kyle, do you guys feel like it won't have an effect? Like people are just gonna be like, all right, whatever. If people play it, they play it. Whatever. I mean,
I think there's going to be a good group of people who just go, whatever, I'm playing Vanillux. I don't care what anyone else is doing. I'm going to throw down 2 scoops of pain, and they're just going to take it. And there's going to be a lot of people who are like going, more people who are more like on the fence, who will probably just flip-flop back and forth. And they may even just get their fix in by rolling a die to see what they should play.
okay, Kyle, anything you want to add on?
I feel like if you were entering a tournament like a Battle Road or a City, where people know, oh, this is the guy who's playing Vanillux. If I think he's good, I'm just going to add Espeon to my deck, and I'm going to win this tournament. Then you would be scared of using Vanillux, but it's just like the other way around, where, okay, I'm going into Nationals, which I'll have like 1,000 people playing. What are the odds I run into somebody, like maybe the one of 20 people who decided to play Espeon in their deck? Probably not very good. So I don't think it would impact my decision too much if I thought Vanillux was a good choice anyway. The only way I'd be scared is if I saw like 100 people all running Espeon. Then I would be like, alright, now I won't play it. But I don't think it's too much of a concern, because it's not that easy to add in a 1/1 line that only helps you beat 1 or 2 decks. It's really tough to justify that much space for just a small percentage of the field. So I wouldn't be too worried about Espeon, to be honest.
Okay. Understandable. I can definitely see. I'm just trying to put myself in the mind of those players, and I guess if they're already planning on playing Vanillux, like you guys said, then it's probably not going to matter very much. All right, here we go. Next question is from. Oh, actually, let me refresh this real quick.
Any day now.
They asked a lot of questions in the last few minutes. Okay, here we go. Most underrated deck choice for Nats. That's Geo Edge, that is.
Underrated.
Underrated. I guess that probably goes hand in hand with our last question. I would probably say, I'm not saying Kling Kling. All right, that's for sure.
Vanillux.
Yeah, I'm going to say Vanillux. I think it's underrated. I think it's a very good deck. Has a chance to be able to beat pretty much any matchup.
Put in your Espeons, people.
Yeah. Anybody else?
I
A lot of
am-
questions to get to tonight.
Oh, Meganium.
Meganium.
Shut up.
Not a deck.
You're
The
such
deck
a troll.
has
It's the Kling
the deck
Kling
has made top 4 at local Battle Roads like 3 or 4 times.
That's not a real deck.
Hey,
You
you
just want an
wanna?
excuse to use Meganium.
Hey, Crim, you wanna go ahead and say how bad this deck is too, like Kling Klang?
I'm not changing my mind about it, that's for sure.
All right, cool.
Here we go,
I'm
next
gonna go
question.
with, like, CMT. I think CMT is underplayed.
You think
and
CMT is the most
deck.
underrated? Okay, that's actually a legitimate answer. Explain.
Yeah,
Explain why you think CMT might be underrated.
I just think it was underplayed for how good of a deck it is. I think you just around the energy and go in pretty much your basic Pokemon you want to play, like Terrakion or something, and you're pretty well set versus which is huge. So I think you could really stay there and go far in that.
I did not get to hear a single word you said because either you were breaking up or I was.
No, it was
Oh.
Yeah.
That was me.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not going again, so next.
Said CMT. He thinks it's underrated for how good it is, or underplayed for how good it is.
Okay, very reasonable. Do you guys know what Pokemon Conquest is, by the way?
Yeah, it's a video game.
Yeah.
Okay, Michael Martindale asks, what do you guys think of Pokemon Conquest? And also, he wanted to apologize for not having Battle Rose Week 5 results.
I'll probably end up playing it. Maybe. Just because I like RPG genres. I like handhelds, like the old Final Fantasies and stuff like that.
Is it for a handheld?
Yeah, it's for DS.
Okay. I haven't heard very much about it. Or anything, actually. So, anybody gonna play it? Anybody at all?
I'm sure I'll probably end up playing it like on plane
You guys
rides.
are so dead tonight, man.
Like, I'll probably like buy it on my way. So like when I'm going to Hawaii, I'll be like, oh, I can play this on my plane trip over.
Yeah, that's probably what I'll do.
Yeah.
Cool. At least I got an answer out of you. All right. Dustin Zimmerman asks, any news on whether or not we'll be able to record or even stream major top games, much exactly like we've done in states and regionals? We did cover this a little bit, but the news is looking good, but we don't have a definite yes yet. As long as everything works out, it should absolutely happen, but obviously we can't guarantee it yet. Derek Cranky asks,
Sorry, we got the equipment, we just don't know if we'll have the permission.
correct. Derek Cranky asks, no one really covers the VGC Nationals at all either. Would you consider recording, streaming at least the finals matches and throwing them up on YouTube? We talked about this last year.
We actually do have the video game finals from Worlds last year. I never did anything with it because the files are so huge, it's just almost impossible to share them with other people. And I didn't really know who would commentate, and we have no idea what we're doing with that. The problem that comes with streaming the video game is that it takes different equipment. It's a different video feed you have to get, so you have to take it either from the DS. I don't know exactly how it would work. I don't know how the screen capture stuff works for that, so I don't think I would be able to do it, especially not since we are planning on streaming the TCG. So I don't think we'll be able to do it, but I did have someone emailing me asking if we had any tips for them trying to stream that. So I hope somebody does. I think that would be good because I think the video game has a lot bigger following than the trading card game. So it's actually puzzling to me that these events aren't streamed. So
yeah, even from a spectator point of view, I really like watching the video game just happen. It's like, because everyone's played the Pokemon video game, right? So it's like you just go, oh wow, that's actually kind of cool. I didn't know you could do that, things like that. Or it's just fun watching like two giant Pokemon use surf on each other.
Yeah. I know that at Worlds it's kind of like a little ritual for all of us that aren't in the finals or the semifinals to kind of just sit down as a group and just watch the VC games and just kind of like sit there and like stare in amazement as people use surf and rain dance happens and everything, and we always talk about it like we know what we're doing or what we're talking about, but truth is none of us are professional video game players by any means, but it is cool to watch. I'll definitely do it.
I used to know what was up.
Yeah, you did. Long ago. I used to know what was up in Pokemon TCG. There you go. What's up with that, see? Let's see. All right.
Isaiah, do you have any experience with that? Because I know you're friends with Fizzy Stardust. He's a big video game guy, right?
I actually have a lot of experience with that. Like, for the past couple weeks, me and my friends have just been on Pokemon Online, which is like a simulator, and just been playing non-stop games. And I used to be really into singles, so I've slowly started to learn more about the VGC metagame because I'm trying to figure out what I can do next season because I can't play TCG since I'll be studying abroad. So I'm wondering if I can somehow play VGC instead.
Bummer about the TCG. But yeah, that would be cool if you could play the VGC and maybe attend the Worlds through that. That'd be kind of interesting. All right, here we go. Next question. Bodie Cutler asks, 2 hopefully quick questions for us. One is he has Australian Nationals tomorrow and Sunday. his 4th in a row. If he tops 2, will we interview him? I'll go on record and saying yes, absolutely. Just hit us up, and that would probably be at Worlds, obviously.
Or write a report. We'll post that. I posted the report from the guy who won
Norway?
the Dutch Nationals, which was Bert. So it was cool that we got that.
And this next question, please, Kyle, cover your ears.
Earmuffs.
It is
Earmuffs.
earmuffs, Kyle.
Oh no, I have headphones on.
Is it too early to tell, or with the new set, Dragons Exalted, will it? Okay, I'm gonna assume. Okay, or will the new set completely change the format in regards to Mewtwo and Darkrai cards being so easily accessible with the addition of a new energy type? Kyle, you are not allowed to say a single word about this. Just you hold it in, and I'll go with Drew because Pram also looks pretty bummed about this answer about this
I
question.
have no idea what's in this new set. I have not looked
Just
at
think
any
of
of these
Rayquaza,
cards.
man. All right.
Rayquaza's pretty good. He was pretty good like 5 years ago. You can't make a bad Rayquaza, right? I mean, it won Nationals like 3 years ago. So, I
What
think
about you, Isaiah? What do you think?
I haven't even thought about the new set, so I have no idea why. In general, he's asking about a set that comes out after Nats and Worlds when we're trying to focus on Nats and Worlds. So I can't really answer, I guess.
Okay.
Hold
I
on.
will say. I don't want any negative Nancy answers from you and Kyle.
I'm not. I just like to point out, like, Kyle's face for the past couple of minutes. He was like, Rayquaza won the Nationals? Oh, yeah!
That did take me a second.
Like, I just looked at Kyle's face. He was just like, huh? Oh, yeah. That was me.
I was like, Rayquaza EX never won Nationals. Blaziken never won. That was the only good Rayquaza. Oh, okay, I get it.
Alright, you can go.
I'll just say real quickly that I do think Rayquaza is going to change the format quite a bit. But obviously, it remains to be seen. The card is just really powerful, and I'd be surprised if it doesn't. But obviously, once we get around to it, we'll give way better answers, and we'll actually have a better view of the format by then. So stick around and find out what we have to say about it. Squeaky Marking says, have you decided if there's a meet and greet? I would like it on Thursday after signups for event, or even on Fridays after the rounds. You know, I don't actually know how meet and greets work. Like, is that even... I mean,
Really?
I don't.
You just set up a time, and you go, I'm going to be here from this time to this time. And that's your opportunity to meet me. Otherwise, you're going to have to find me and track me down.
Then you have, like, a booth or something, and people just
You can just
sit down and
table?
have
a
people walk
table,
up to you.
a chair, whatever.
It's kind of cool. I mean, like Kyle said, I don't know if we're popular enough for that or important enough for that, but, I mean, it's flattering. It's absolutely flattering. But we're very accessible. We love talking to people, obviously, like we've all mentioned before. It's just, I don't know if we're important enough for a meet and greet. Appreciate the thought, though. Anybody want to add on to that?
I mean, we're going to be pretty easy to find. We're all going to be wearing, like, these bright red shirts. So, I know there's probably going to be a couple more of them than there was last year at Nationals, but we shouldn't be too hard to find.
Hopefully there's going to be a lot more bright red shirts, by the way. These shirts are really cool, and obviously you guys have been more than welcome to purchase them before. Okay, Anthony Desiat asks, is it possible for myself or anyone else to play against you guys outside of the Nationals event? So basically, kind of like we did last year where we had that team challenge. I think that's kind of what he's asking. Obviously not team related anymore, just kind of like a sit out and play me type of thing. Gunslinging, if you will.
Well, pretty much any other year, I probably would have said yes. This year, I don't think so, because if I'm not playing, I'm probably going to be helping out with the stream if we do that. Or if we don't get the stream, I'm going to be interviewing people, or I'm probably going to be busy all weekend. Sorry.
Drew?
He's big leaguing you guys. It's not cool. I, on the other hand, make myself available to everyone. Want to play a game? Come hit me
AKA
up.
not working.
It's my week off, man. I took off time. Gotta enjoy myself.
All right, Pram, what about you?
I'm going to be available for the 9 rounds I'm playing Nationals. Outside of that, I don't know. I mean, like, if I have some spare time, sure, I'd be down to play a game. You're just going to have to find me, and then if I happen to have time at that moment, then yeah, I'd be down.
I just envision Pram like playing his opponent at Nationals and then playing someone else on the side at the same time.
No, I can't do
like
that.
He was so confident he was going to win that he just played someone else at the same time.
It's not that I wouldn't do it. I just am legally not allowed to do it because then I would have to bring them into the play area, and that would just be awkward for both opponents. It'd be fine for me, but it'd be awkward for both my opponents. So I don't want to cause that awkwardness. So. Yeah.
What about you, Isaiah? Are you going to be available for people to play against you?
Oh, of course. I'm willing to play anybody, if I'm free, of course. But I'm always looking to meet new people, play against people, just whatever. Just come find me.
If there's enough interest, I'm sure that in the future we'd be more than willing to do another one of those challenges type of deals. We didn't plan one around this year because honestly we were super tired at Worlds. I know that it's kind of, I don't know, I don't want to say bad etiquette to say this, but we were just so exhausted at Worlds, running back and forth and doing everything we had to do, that we kind of just looked at each other and said, never again, because we had no free time, and it was just absolutely tiring.
It was,
yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong, it was worth it, and I'm very excited or very proud of what we did, but yeah, it was just more tiring than anybody would have ever imagined for a vacation. And yeah, I mean, I'm sure that in the future we'll do it again, but this time around it's just, we have a lot going on right now, and we want to make sure that we do that right. We want to make sure that the stream works perfectly and so forth.
It was kind of disappointing every time I had to come out for the ace match. I was just like, oh, you lost again? Come on.
Oh man, I started off so bad at that thing. I think I started off like
with the rainbow on the Magnemite again. Oh.
I only did that once, alright.
Like, I'd win, and then I look over at you, I'd be like, ah, come on.
What was I thinking? Me and Drew had a really horrible show.
Yeah.
It'd always be like...
Not my best.
It'd always be like...
Alright, it happens.
And then, like, when me or Kyle lost, and then Drew would win, then there was someone who was like 0-4.
Hey man, all I know is I was the lone winner in one of our matches, and I think it was against little kids or something like that.
Yeah.
All of you guys have lost, and I came out victorious.
Team short and sweet, yeah.
I sat there and like fist pumped. Suck it, you guys can't 4-0. Get out of my house! Oh, that was great. Great times.
Right.
Definitely want to do that again sometime. Alright. Kevin Kobayashi asks, a serious question for once. Go figure. Have you all been preparing for the national championships? How have we all been preparing? How many games do we plan to play roughly 2 to 3 days prior, and when do we think we'll decide on our deck? Also, shout out to Pram, my favorite player.
Thank you.
It's a weak favorite player, man. You have all the choices in the world. You pick Pram.
Alright, Drew. Preparing, how many games do you expect to play, and when will you decide on your deck?
Well, play testing with Mondak right now during the weeks. He doesn't work or do anything, so he's always available. So I just call him over after work sometimes, and we play. That's pretty much all I've been doing. We get pretty tired of playing. We trash talk a lot, so we can only go a couple games at a time, and then we have to take like days off because we're just mad at each other. So probably work on a little bit more coming up since Nats is next week, but I haven't really been. Yeah.
I can just see Drew winning a game and then just being like, "Taste the pain, Mondak." And then Mondak just doesn't talk to him for a week.
You know who's tasting the pain right now? Come on. The Thunder. Oh, so beautiful.
They can do it. They can come back.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure they can in some other world. But not this one, my friend. Not this one. The Heat are your 2012 national champions.
Oh, man.
All right.
Did you say
How many
national
games do you expect to
champions?
play? Yeah, national champions. They are national champions. How many games do you expect to play in 2 to 3 days prior?
None. We never play in Indianapolis, so I mean, I'll probably play a few games every night, but nothing crazy. I try to be prepared before I actually go to the venue, so any changes at the event will probably be like, do I want to play an Espeon or not, something like that.
What about you, Pram?
I'll probably get I'm not gonna choose my deck until like night of. That's generally how I do things for nationals and worlds too. My preparation for both are pretty similar. I 2 to 3 days beforehand, I'll probably test maybe total around 20 games. Maybe more, maybe a little less. About 20 games, more or less. Somewhere around there. I mean, like, if I stumble onto something really new, really, like, I go, oh, wow, I have to, like, see how this works out, then it'll be, like, more than 20. But if it's kind of like, yeah, I'm just kind of confirming what I'm doing, it might be around 10 to 15.
Okay. Isaiah?
I don't really have much time because the Wednesday before I leave to nationals, I have a midterm and then another class at night, and then I'm getting on a red-eye flight. So.
What?
Bummer. Jeez.
Busy life.
Hate to be in your shoes, man. All right, Kyle. What about you?
What's probably going to happen is when I'm driving to Indianapolis, I'll think of what deck I want to use, and then I'll build it, and then I'll play a couple games, and I'll realize it doesn't work, and then I'll build something else, and then I'll play a few games until I finally find something that works. Usually it takes about 10 games or so, and that's my plan for this year as well.
Yeah, those car rides, you start theorizing some really good decks in your head, and then you're like, wait a minute, there's a big hole I'm missing, isn't there?
Yeah, last year was, Chinchino's not very good.
Like, just over the weekend, I was just like, wow, I can play Electrode Prime right now? Oh man, it'll be great. And that didn't work out too well.
You do this like every week. You're like, I found the best deck in the format, and I got the best list for it. And then I'm like, I don't know if this is going to work too well. You're like, nope, I thought of everything. And a week later, you're like, alright, that didn't work out very well, but I have a new idea. And it beats everything.
True story. Very true story. I do most of my play testing 2 to 3 days before Nats, which is not very much, admittedly. How many games do you think I play in 2 to 3 days before Nats, Kyle?
2.
Maybe about 6. You have to keep in mind your games take an hour, so probably about 6 is a generous number.
Yeah, okay. We'll go with 6. That is most of my playtesting. I don't suggest you guys do it. That's probably why I've never won nationals. But it's just how I do things, I guess. Obviously, don't take nationals as seriously as other people, unfortunately. But I would like to someday. It's on my bucket list.
2 out of the 3 years you've been at nationals, you just played an exact copy of my deck, plus or minus 1 card.
To be fair, no. The year you won, you owe me your nationals victory, by the way. I'm never taking that away from you. I invented that deck. You lost to that deck infinite times, and eventually you said, if Jose can beat me with this thing, it's got to be good. So you can play it.
If you want to take credit for it, you got to take credit for the Rayquaza, too.
No. You just added 1 card.
That
You had
Rayquaza
1
was
card, and
scary.
you're like,
Hey, you played it.
2. You added 2. You added Chitatsu.
That Rayquaza was scary. Like, I played Kyle in a game before Nationals, and he dropped down Rayquaza, and I was just like, I have this game won. But if he flips 4 heads, I lose. So I was forced to power spray it. But then he was like, yeah, moral victory. You power sprayed it.
That is what happened, yeah. But the
yeah,
one year you were just adamant that you were going to play Donphan, and you were going to play Entei Raikou Legend, and you were just, for some reason, you're like, yeah, I'm playing Donphan, I don't care what anyone says, I don't care what anyone's playing, Donphan is for me, I was like, oh, that's probably not going to do very well. You should probably play SP. You're like, nope, that's way too difficult. I'm using Fan.
Yeah. That was the one year I missed cut, too.
Yeah.
To be fair, I missed on tie breaks, so that's unfair. That's unfortunate. Yeah, I don't know. That might not have been my most my smartest choice, but you know what? I didn't play very much that year at all, actually. And yeah, I'll treat that as my year off. It happens. But either way, I feel happy with the deck choices I've made in the past, just not that one. Let's see here. Josh Holt, best and worst memories of Nationals. I don't think anybody can top my Magikarp memory, but
I have a lot of bad memories about Nationals.
Yeah, I got bad ones.
Yeah.
All right, let's go. You guys are each welcome to tell one story, whether it be the best one or the worst one. And we'll start with Drew.
I know this.
Well, I'm going to skip the obvious story and go to the first Nationals I played, the one where Kyle also came in second. I was like X and 1, I don't remember what made cut. But then I ended up playing AJ Deloy, like, second to last round. And we had been playing, like, all season. And this was back in the day when there was no prizes for Nationals. I don't know what Kyle walked away with, maybe a couple boxes of cards. But pre-scholarship days, I'm playing AJ Deloy. He doesn't have his Worlds invite. It was top 8, got invite top 4. I already have mine. So I decided to concede to him in that round. I had nothing to play for, and then I whiffed the cut, and I don't get to win Nationals. But on the other hand, AJ, he made the cut, and he ended up going to top 8, so he got his invite, so it worked out, but it was kind of unfortunate.
It was actually top 4 that got invites. That's how bad it was.
He made top 4?
Yeah,
he made top 4.
4th, I think.
Wow. That was actually really classy of you. I'm proud.
Yeah. I sacrificed my own national dream.
After you screwed him so many times on the Dunsparce splits.
Yeah, I did beat him with Dunsparce. We played in like 5 or 6 events in a row, and it would come down to the end of the game. I'm behind. My only out is the Paralyze is active like 3 turns in a row with Dunsparce, and I did it every single time. Like legitimately 5 tournaments in a row. Just so mad.
What about? I was gonna say, what about you, Isaiah? But
there's this one time when no.
This one time at band camp.
All right, Isaiah. I guess this question doesn't apply to you. What about you, Kyle?
I gotta say, I'm gonna go with the worst memory. For me, it was showing up to Nationals 2006 with the Delta deck, the Executor Raichu deck. I was really confident we had come up with a great deck, and we were all going to do really well with it. And yeah, that's what happened. Martin Moreno, he took first. He went undefeated in the event. Eric Innocenti, he took second. So that's actually a ridiculous feat that's never going to be repeated, I don't think. This rogue deck that only about 4 people were playing, it finished 1-2 in the event, which in a huge event like Nationals, that's ridiculous. But I ended up 4-4. So the deck that finished 1-2, I was down all the way at like 500th place with a humble 4-4 record. So it was just a day of everything going wrong for me, and I was like, well, it's cool. Like the guys that I built the deck with are doing well, but at the same time, I'm like, where did I go wrong? I'm 4-4, and he's like 13-0. So that was a humbling experience playing against a kid using a Sunflora deck in round 8.
What about you, Pram?
Alright, this is good. I think this is my favorite memory from National. Okay, so it's also a 2004 memory. So I was playing against John Silvestro, and he's been beating me down all game. So the prize count's like 6-1. He's at 1, right? But I've been using Desert Ruins all game, right? So I have a situation where in 3 turns, I take 6 prizes because of Desert Ruins if I get 3 Dunsparce heads on a fresh Rayquaza.
How is this a bad memory?
No, it's a good memory. It's a good memory.
Oh.
So, you know, I go, what am I gonna do here? Send up Dunsparce. Sudden flash. Heads. 20, 10 across. 10 across.
You're like confidently doing this too. You're like, sorry, bud.
Sudden flash. Heads. 10 across. 10 across. My turn again. Sudden flash. I don't even need the flip this time. 10 across. 6 prizes. All in one turn. And that was my first encounter with John Silvestro. So it was fun.
Hey, Pram, I thought you would say the worst is that Nationals got kicked out of.
I would, but this is memory.
Did you get kicked out of Nationals?
No. I didn't get kicked out. They let me back in.
It was Kant that got kicked out.
Can't.
Nice.
Besides, I don't even know what happened.
He rode the Turtwig, the inflatable Turtwig. He took a ride.
Unbelievable. For me, obviously, I have a few, but the most memorable one to me actually happened last year. Sitting right after round 3, nice and happy, or I think maybe after round 2, I can't remember. Nice and happy at XO, and they say, Josue, Rohano, please come up to the desk. And I'm like, huh? Must be a random deck check. I get there, and the TO for Arizona looks at me, and she's like got this like death stare on her, and I'm like, must be a random deck check. And she's like, nope, it's not. Oh man! At that point, I realized my deck was probably illegal. Turns out I did not have Pokemon communication written down in my deck list. I had a 56-card deck list, and I mean, it should be painfully obvious that that I intended to play communication, but rules are rules, and they weren't made to be broken apparently. So I had to replace those cards with basic energies, and I played the entire Nationals tournament from round 3 on or round 4 on. With nothing but basic energies. I ended up making cut pretty easily, actually. I think I only lost twice. And I won my first round, maybe even my first 2 rounds. My first 2 rounds I won. And then I ran into the pain train, Burt Piebass. The one matchup where the communication is actually 100% necessary, and it's against Gengar. And I'm sitting there, because I actually chose different basic energies. I had my basic fightings, and then I chose different basic fightings so I could torture myself when I drew the actual communications. And sure enough, I'm sitting there with like 3 of these things, 3 communications, and like all these Pokemon in my hand. I'm just like staring at it, and he's going like, "Well, guess I got to do it." And everybody knew that I didn't have communication in my deck, so he obviously got to take advantage of that. And he's just sitting there like on turn 4, I think I have like 5 Pokemon Lost Zone, and there's no way for me to get rid of him. So that actually ended up becoming an absolute auto loss when, honestly, it was a really good matchup if I do have communications. I would have actually played against Jason Harry the very next round and then Kyle in top 8. Yeah, so it was top 32 because Jason Harry top 16, Kyle top 8. And then, yeah, that didn't happen. Instead, I lost to the pain train, and that's the end of my Nationals dream. All because I didn't write down.
I haven't played Jason until top 4.
I'm surprised you didn't mention...
Okay, then I guess there must have been one other person between you and Jason.
I'm surprised you didn't mention the guy who's like, "You're the guy playing no communications. Don't tell anyone I lost to you."
Yeah, it became a pretty big folk story. People, I mean, obviously I was still steamrolling the tournament because I got to make cut, and people constantly were like, by the 5th round, people were like, "Are you the guy with the no communications?" And like, "I'm sorry, man." And sure enough, I mean, I lost a couple of those rounds, but I won the rest. And the rounds where I won, the guys were like, it was a win-win actually for me. Because if I lost the round, they were like, "Oh, I'm sorry, dude. Obviously, you would have had a much better chance. You might have even beaten me if you didn't have communication." I'm like, "Yeah, you're right." And then when I won, these guys were like, "Oh, I lost to that." No. And it's a cool story to tell, but it was still pretty heartbreaking at the time. So.
You had a big smile
That's
on your
life.
face when you told me that story.
Yeah, oh yeah. Dude, can you imagine the guy's just sitting there going like the whole time that he's losing, he's just going like, "I'm losing to the guy." with no communications. That's a pretty big deal for those of you that didn't play in that format. That's pretty much the most valuable card in your deck at the time.
Pokemon Reversal.
Those both, I mean, it's hard to win without either of them.
Yeah.
Reversal and communication, both pretty important. So, I guess that's it for that. Not answering that question. Alright, let's go with Joel Montemayor. How was the experience of your first Nats, and how well did you guys do? Real quick, my first Nats, that was Luxray Infernape. I lost in top 64, I think. I lost to the Machamp guy. To the King of Magikarps, whatever round that was. Top 128, maybe. And that was pretty bumming. Terrible ruling, but whatever. Kyle, first Nats?
My first Nationals was the very first one, which was 2004. It was a horribly run event that didn't start until like 1 in the afternoon, and then I had 2 buys for that tournament, so I didn't play until round 3. And when I finally sat down at about 3 p.m. to play my first round, they decided lunch break because the computers crashed. So that tournament did not end until 4 or 5 in the morning because they decided to run it in one day. So I did make it to the finals. I took second, which was great. But didn't end until 4 in the morning. So then my parents were like, well, we're driving home. So we drove home at about 5 in the morning. That was a long day. And I went home with a trip to Worlds and 2 booster boxes of Hidden Legends for my second place finish.
That was a good set.
And a Sharpedo banner.
Alright, what about you, Drew?
I also played in that first Nationals. I just told the story. I conceded the AJ, which took me out of the top cut, but put him into it. So that's my first Nats.
Oh yeah, I remember. I almost didn't make the cut that year because the record you had to get to make the cut that year was actually ridiculous. Like, if you had 2 losses, you were actually out. So I was like X-1 heading into the last round, and I faced a player who was, I guess, well known at the time. It was Coriace Jolteon. Faced him in the last round, and I was like, hey, you just want to intentionally draw? We'll both make it. It'll all be cool. And he's like, you know what, man? I don't think I'm going to make it if I do that. So I want to play. And I had flashbacks to when I played against Croc back in the challenge. I was like, oh, this is karma, isn't it? And I thought for sure I was going to get knocked out. And sure enough, I was losing the entire game. And there was this point where I have a Walrein with 20 hit points left. And I was like, he's only got 1 prize left. There's no way I'm going to survive through this turn. And he sends up a Feebas, which is the basic for Melodic, which does 10 damage for 1 energy. And I was like, wait, he's really not going to knock me out? I'm going to win this game, maybe? And he attaches the energy, and he tackles for 10. I was like, oh, thank God. I used Melodic to heal off all the damage, and then he just slammed his head on the table. He's like, oh no! And I was just like, huh? He goes, I had a strength charm. I was like, are you kidding me? Like, if he just puts down the strength charm, he does 20 and wins the game. And I was like, well, that sucks. And I heal all the damage off. And then time gets called, and the game ends in an unintentional draw. So we end up drawing anyway, and we still both make it comfortably, might I add. He was nowhere near not making the cut. So we ended up drawing on accident. And that was probably one of the most frustrating / relieving moments of my life. When the person won't just draw with you so you both make it in, but then it ends up being a draw anyway. It was just weird.
It's funny.
That was my first game.
Let's see. Mine was also 2004. I had a 2-round bye, so I didn't start until 3 p.m. And it was a fun It was a funny tournament. Basically, I played one guy twice during Swiss. The same person. And I played him rounds 4 and 7. And basically, I believe I beat him in round 4, and then we drew in round 7. And yeah, so I made it into top 16, and then I played my auto loss, which was Gardevoir. Like, absolutely, you cannot beat this deck with the deck I was playing, which was Crobat Corpus, in case anyone was wondering. And yeah, that was promptly knocked out of U.S. Nationals, which turned out to be what my MO is for U.S. Nationals. Make cut, lose first round.
Have you made cut every year, Pram?
The only years I didn't make cut is 2009 and 2007. Yeah.
So you've missed cut only twice,
Yes.
but you've never really gone deep?
I keep getting knocked out first round.
Well, let's hope the streak continues. Woo! All right.
Thanks
Isaiah,
for your confidence on me making cut, man.
Anytime, man. You're in my national stop cut contest.
You're not.
In my brain. All right, Isaiah. Sorry, I would ask you this question, but again, this is your first nationals, and apparently everybody's just asking questions about previous nationals experiences. So my apologies, but I'm sorry. I can't imagine how bored you probably are with these questions. We're only going to ask a few more because obviously the show's been running a little long, and let's face it, these guys look tired, man. These guys look like they need a break. I like this question. Robert Ector, do any of you guys, or have any of you guys, ever felt pressure to do well at Nationals? I remember when I went to Origins when I was younger, and I was just happy that I won states and didn't care. But this year I feel a little bit of pressure to do well, and honestly, I'm not really enjoying it. I think I can speak for the... Well, I don't know if I can speak for all of us, but on my own behalf, I've absolutely felt pressure for it, given because I always used to do... I mean, back during the Wizards of the Coast days, I was obviously respected as a very good player. Then once you come back and you don't play as much, obviously people start down. They start saying, oh, you know what, this guy's washed up, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, and it happens constantly. So obviously there's a lot of pressure there. You want to do well for yourself, and just to kind of be like, all right, guys, see, told you guys I'm not washed up, or whatever. But, yeah, it's just, that's just, would you please stop that? It's so easy to make me lose my train of thought. But yeah, either way, that's just something that I've constantly struggled with. Now I don't feel so much pressure. Before I felt a lot of pressure to kind of prove it and whatnot. But the truth is I really don't play enough. And people have gotten a lot better because people do play quite a bit now. The amount of the skill level of Pokemon players is drastically improved. And it's a good thing. It just means that, honestly, you do have to put a lot of effort to do well at these events. Anybody want to agree or disagree?
I mean, generally, I like if I know I have an invite, I feel pretty chill about Nationals. This year I'm going to be on the bubble. You know, if things stay status quo, I'll make it in. But if things turn out poorly in my favor, or again, not in my favor, then I'll barely be out. So I have to do somewhat. I have to break through my curse of top cut out first round. So we'll see if I can do it. But yeah, I mean, I feel a little bit of pressure from that. But honestly, I think all the pressure goes. I think once you start playing, all that built-up tension just kind of floods away. At least it does for me. So hopefully, it does for you too.
All right. Apparently the stream was down while I was talking, so you guys didn't get to hear my little mini rant. Alright, that's fine. Anybody else have any things that they wanted to add on? Maybe Isaiah, this is actually a question you can maybe answer.
Well, I do feel a little comfortable because I'm pretty sure I have the invite whether or not I do well at Nationals, but I also feel a lot of pressure because this is my first Nationals and I feel like I have to kind of prove myself to everyone else that I'm good and not just a crappy player or lucky player or something. So it's kind of 50-50. I'm safe for Worlds, but I want to prove myself, so we'll see.
The only year I really felt pressure was 2008. I didn't have my invite at that point, and there was the original Top Cut website, so I felt a little pressure from that. thought I had to do well. It was also the best performance I've ever had at Nationals, so maybe I should feel more pressure. We'll see this year. I don't have an invite again, so I'm going for the finals. Going broke.
Going broke, all right. All right. Jonathan Santana asks, out of you five, who has the best chance to win Nationals? P.S. I can beat Kyle at any wrestling game. LOL. Best chance, I think Drew probably, because he's put the most effort into the game, into testing recently. As weird as that might sound, as weird as that actually sounds. My vote's on Drew.
You're crazy.
I'm crazy, but I'm crazy for you.
Back's against the wall. Gonna do it.
Get shifty.
Absolutely. Look at him. Look at him go. This dude, he's ready, man. Woo! Woo!
As long as he doesn't hit Gino again, he's all good.
Yeah, the path is clean. Nice and clear. I'm going for it.
Anybody else want to add on?
Probably Kyle, because he just has the most experience in going that deep. So, people just like when they're in the first time they're playing in that situation, people just get nervous and they just do things they normally wouldn't do, and so that's where experience matters.
All right.
Yeah, Kyle's the best by far. I was playing him on Apprentice, and he was just killing me. So Crim's crazy for picking me. But
Alright,
yeah, it's gotta be Kyle.
I don't even think it's experience as much as it is being able to play in such terrible environments, which I mean no sleep, that kind of thing. I think most people just aren't used to playing on just 2 hours of sleep a night or something like that, because you want to have fun with your friends, and if you make it to the third day of nationals, you are so drained. It sounds stupid to say drained physically, but you really are. You're just exhausted, and you just kind of run on fumes, and I think that's what people aren't used to. Glad you guys are having fun down in that chat. But yeah, you have to be able to adapt to not having any sleep. I guess that's the biggest part. The year I lost in top 4, which is 2010, I actually lost because I had no sleep at all. I actually made a mistake in the middle of a game where all of the SP trainers blended in for a second. I was supposed to grab an energy gain, and I grabbed an SP radar, and I put it on the table, and then I started shuffling my deck. I had all 3 cards spread out, and I was shuffling my deck, and I was oh, that's not an energy gain. So I was oh, can I just switch this one out and get an energy gain instead? And he's no, you already shuffled your deck. It's over. So I actually lost one of my games because of that, because I was so tired that I couldn't tell the pictures apart anymore. So,
wow, that's actually brutal.
Yeah, sleep can be your best friend once you actually make it to the third day.
But back then, wasn't it 2 days?
No, it was 3 days. That was the first year. It was 3 days.
Was it?
2010, yeah.
Oh yeah, you're right.
All right, Isaiah, who do you think out of us five?
I'd have to say Kyle. Just look at his track record. He's gotten top 4 at how many nationals now?
1, 2, 3, 4. 4, yeah.
4. So yeah, Kyle.
If you count the first one.
I do.
That was the biggest marathon of all.
All right. Did anybody not answer? I think Kyle just gave the runaround, and Drew didn't answer.
Drew answered Kyle.
Oh,
You
yeah.
answered. I know, it's hard.
You answered Kyle?
Next.
You just said, oh, unless you meant yourself.
We all said Kyle, except for you.
Good, because I'm right.
I say not Crim.
Good choice.
Woo! Wrong.
He chokes when the pressure's on, that's all.
Incorrect. It's not even true. I just get him lucky. Alright. Dak, this one we might have answered before. I'm not really sure. I don't think we have. Dax Edmiston. What's our favorite card of all time? It doesn't matter if it's playable or whatever. Just favorite of all time. Also, good luck at Nationals. Gear search, item finder. Pow. Soup teleporter.
POW hand extension.
Tickling machine. That's my
Isaiah, Kyle.
I'm gonna go with Takeout Machamp.
That card ruined my dreams. That card broke my heart.
Neo Genesis Heracross.
What?
Get
That's
out.
not a real card.
Megahorn. Knocking
Yeah.
Pichu's out like it was his job.
Wasn't that like a double heads that you have to do, or triple heads?
It's one heads. You do 60
Okay, so you had to get double heads.
against the Pichu, yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
They-
it was
well,
like
so
they had
they
to
had
get
to flip
tails.
tails.
They had to get tails, and you had to get heads.
No. You have to flip 2 heads.
Yeah, you flip
Oh.
the baby. You flip.
No. Was
Back
it?
then, you flip. Yeah.
I can't remember. Was it?
You have to flip heads against the baby.
Get out of here, Isaiah.
I couldn't remember whether it was you flip or they flip.
You flip.
You flip it.
But they had to flip for Focus Band after
That's it. Yeah. And of course, it was always Focus Band.
Yeah.
Alright, is there a 60-minute or 75-minute cut in Nats? I actually don't know this answer.
They haven't announced it, but I assume 60.
Yeah.
Oh wait, my bad. I mean overconfidence Machamp.
Woo! That much champ.
You Machamped him.
Okay, do you guys play golf? I have played golf. I've never been good at it, but I've played it. I always like it. It's really, it's a good sport. Nobody else though? I figured nobody else has played it.
I've been known to.
I've played
Oh, really?
putt. Does that count?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Sure.
And yes, I have played golf.
Drew, you actually play golf, really?
I'm a businessman. You got that.
Oh man, that's true. I forgot about that. There's a lot of Excelgor questions, so that's probably going to end up being our last question. We'll just cover that real quick. But no, I haven't thought about setting a petition. Jason's
Yeah,
secret deck. Actually, it's so
wanna-
secret that he hasn't even told us.
I want to answer this one from Adam Keebler. He asked if Surprise Time Machine was ever a playable card,
Yes.
and the answer is yes. It was used, actually, Jimmy Ballard took second at Worlds with his Evolution deck that used Surprise Time Machine. I believe he played 4 of them.
It was also good in Blaziken decks. You could swap out Blaziken for a different Blaziken. And I think Guardy too.
How
I
about
don't
that?
remember.
There was some weird, there were some weird decks where that was played,
Yeah.
where you could switch out like Breelooms to Fighting in Grass.
I want to say there was like a Pidgeot use for it.
Yeah.
Or am I thinking of a different? I don't know.
Yeah.
There was a lot of applications for that card though. So.
Yeah, actually, there might have been for the hole-in-one.
Yeah.
That dealt
Something
the
like
shutout
that.
powers. Yeah, it was an underrated card, I think.
All right. There's a couple questions that I want to ask. Real quick, we will not have shirts or playmats for sale at Nationals. We're not actually allowed to my knowledge. So, don't want to step on anybody's toes.
Wink, wink. We want to
If you want to
let's-
order them, I can bring them to you at Nationals.
Absolutely. You guys think a surprise? Jonathan Crespo asked if we think a surprise deck will make top 32 or 16 at Nationals, like Ross's surprise last year, or like Yoshi Tate as Pram likes to call him, did a recent Battle Road in Wisconsin with his Excelgor, Vileplume, Darkrai, and Mew deck. Yes, that's right. I just mentioned all those cards, even though it's a current version of the Japan Mew EX deck, the top 3 qualifiers. Do we think there's going to be a rogue deck going deep in top 32 or top 16?
Sure. I'm sure there will be.
Usually one, yeah.
Okay.
Find me a
Oh,
year
hard to
where there
argue
wasn't
with
a weird deck in the
Yeah,
top.
it's hard to argue with that, to be honest. Like, I mean, very rarely does a deck completely dominate like Gardevoir did, and this format doesn't really have a dominating deck yet. Not to my knowledge, anyways. Then again, I've only played 5 games.
Last year was Tyranitar, man.
Yeah.
James Arnold.
Sure. Agreed. There's a question here, actually, that was asked in chat that I thought was pretty good. Okay, here it is. Alex D. Florida, maybe? Had a question. What Pokemon card will you miss the most after the Black-White and non-rotation happens? For me, it's Shaman and Smeargle as a tie. Smeargle is the big one for me. I really like Smeargle. I started liking it quite a bit more recently. Shaman's overpowered, in my opinion. I don't really like it.
Dual Ball.
Yeah, Dual Ball's a good one. Wait, it's not in Black-White?
No.
I don't know.
How are you
What do
not
guys think?
picking Junk Arm?
Because I hate
I
that
want-
card. I hate that card.
I wanted to pick Junk Arm, but the truth is that in this format, it's actually pretty overpowered. But the card in general, I think, is a really good addition to the game. I think it's a good card for the game. I think it's just a bad card for the format.
Yeah, I agree. Like, only being able to use 4 catchers is way better than being able to use 8. So-
But if Catcher didn't exist, I would think Junk Arm is amazing.
Yeah, too bad. It's not
Too
true.
bad it does.
You know, there was another format like this. It was called Base Set.
Yeah. I'm a big fan of Item Finder. I don't think Item Finder was necessarily overpowered. Professor Oak was overpowered. Computer Search was overpowered. Alright. Anybody else miss a card? Gonna miss a card? Before
No.
we go on to
Get
the
rid of
final
it.
question?
Get them out
What's
of there. Get rid of them all.
Kyle?
I refuse to partake in this question.
I love you, man. Pram?
I already said Dual Ball. And
Alright, fine. Final question. Excelgor. Everybody's asking about it. Let's answer it. Do we think it's going to be good? Do we think it's going to be able to mesh well with the current format, top tier decks? Do we think it's going to do well at Nationals?
well, I have the answer for this. Do you play versus Espeon? If yes, no, you're not going to do well. If no, you're probably going to do well.
Okay. So you think it's actually good enough to be able to warrant people playing Espeon, because otherwise you do well at it?
I mean, it's a Vileplume deck. I mean, they're pretty good right now.
Okay. Kyle? Do you freeze to answer this one too?
What's that? No, this
Your
one's about the
answer.
current format, so I will answer. Let's see. Excelgor, I kind of get the feeling it's just a poor man's Vanillux. I don't really understand why you would play that over Vanillux. I understand that people don't like flips, but I think it's actually more difficult to get an Excelgor and a double colorless every turn than it is to flip 1 out of 4 heads. So I don't actually understand Excelgor that much. I thought the deck that Yoshi played, which was with Chandelure and Darkrai, that was kind of neat, where you could deck and cover, you paralyze and poison them, then you push up your Chandelure, and then next turn you get to Curse Shadow, put 30 somewhere, and then your Darkrai gives you free retreat, and then you can paralyze them again. It acts like Kingdra did in the Lilligant deck, where you could rig it so that they get knocked out by poison, or they get knocked out by Curse Shadow. So it's much more of a lock deck. The problem with Excelgor is always going to be finding the double colorless to keep your lock going. For that reason, I really don't like the deck, but if you can manage to find a way to get a double colorless every turn, then it's actually a really, really strong deck. Same problems as Vanillux, though. It's going to have a tough time once you get to the 60-minute best 2 out of 3 rounds. If you can find a way to win in that scenario, then you'll probably win Nationals if you don't run into Espeon, but good luck winning all of those best 2 out of 3 matches.
Alright. Isaiah, thoughts?
I don't like the regular Excelgor, but I think the Mew Chandelure one has a lot of potential, and I could see those decks going far depending on who's piloting those decks.
Okay. Fair answer, actually. And finally, Drew.
I'm gonna go with Excelgor sucks. It's not good enough to win Nats. You better change your decks if you want to have a chance at winning Nats. It's in your best interest. But if you just want to do okay, play Excelgor. If you want to win, don't play it.
That's why I saved the best for last.
Yeah.
This guy tells it like it is, apparently. Not sure if Excelgor sucks, but I'd be surprised if it does well, especially with the fact that people will hate. There will be people playing SPM. That's just it. I can almost guarantee that. I don't know many, but I know that some will. Yeah, it's been a long show. We've answered a lot of questions. My hair is starting to droop. That means I'm tired. It looks like this is going to be it for the night. We are going to be all in Indianapolis in a week. I don't know if we'll be able to get a show going. We'll try to. We actually haven't discussed this yet, but it'd be kind of nice to be able to get a live show going or a show where we're all actually together. But we'll see what happens with that. Let's go with shout-outs, guys. Starting with, we'll start with Isaiah.
I want to give a shout out to the Dream Team, Team B-Side. They're the ones who got me into this game. Tyler Ninamura, he's by far one of my best friend players in the game, and he's the best playtesting partner I've had. I want to thank my friend Lane Tower for letting me borrow his Darkrai for Nationals. And I want to thank Alex DiGiacomo for suggesting to have me on the show.
You've been a pleasure, man. Real cool guy. I haven't really met him yet, but he is a great follower of the show, always talks about the show, always helps us grow the show, and we can't be thankful enough because that's actually really cool. And we appreciate anybody that does that, especially somebody that does it as often as you. We really do appreciate that, and we really do notice it. Been a great guest. Sorry most of these questions didn't really affect you. Hopefully they will next year, and hopefully we'll be interviewing you in a couple of weeks after you maybe, who knows, win Nationals. Yeah. All right, Drew.
Gonna keep it quick. Thanks for watching, everyone. Follow me on Twitter. I'm the best tweeter in the game, I guess.
Kidding me? When was the last time you tweeted, man? Be honest.
Today.
Yeah, he tweets every day, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
BS, man. There's no way.
Shows how often you look at your Twitter, man.
I gotta work
Alright.
tomorrow, so I got the iron set up in the background. Let's wrap this up, guys. Go, Pram, go!
Alright, follow me on Twitter. Recently broke 200 followers, so that was kind of cool. Let's try and up it up some. We're gonna be all gonna be at Nationals, so come say hi. Always nice meeting you guys in person. That's gonna be really cool. And yeah, that's pretty much my shout-outs.
Drew tweeted in the middle of the show.
I know. I was so distraught, alright?
Oh, man. All right, before Kyle goes, I do want to give my own personal shout-outs. Thanks a lot for watching, guys. Thanks a lot to the Miami Heat for winning the NBA championships. I always had faith in you guys. You guys have always been there for me, and I've always been there for you as your #1 fan.
I hate you.
Since LeBron came over.
I'm just kidding. I am a big LeBron fan. I'm a Spurs fan at heart, but big LeBron fan, and I'm happy he got his ring.
I like Crim even less.
Tweet at me at Crims23. Even though Drew claims to be the best tweeter, I'm the most interesting guy on the Top Cut, that's for sure. And I say interesting things, and I have interesting posts. So, and actually, you know what? Add us all, honestly, because that's how we're going to be able to interact with you guys, and that's how we're going to be able to keep you guys up to date on what's going on in Nationals with ourselves, both personally and as the Top Cut. We are at Top Cut Pokemon as well. Thanks a lot, guys, and I'll let Kyle take it away.
Yep. Thanks to everybody for watching. Thank you to Isaiah for coming on the show at such short notice. We appreciate that. And also, it's going to be our last show before Nationals, so you won't see us again until next week. If you're coming to Nationals, come say hi to us. And yeah, we're always happy to say hi, sign autographs, stuff like that. And spread the word about Nationals, especially if you like the fact that we're streaming. Please talk about it. It's the only way that the game gets bigger, is if people spread the word on stuff like Facebook, Twitter, Reddit, all that stuff. It's really important, actually, in order to help the game grow. You need to just raise awareness of it. We can't do it without you guys, so just want to throw that out there. And also follow all of us on Twitter. I'm sure our respective names are on the screen somewhere, and also at Top Cut Pokemon, where we will be posting official results, or at least standings from Nationals as they go on. And Facebook as well, facebook.com/TopCutPokemon. And YouTube, check out if we're going to ever post any videos, it'll go straight to the YouTube channel, which is also Top Cut Pokemon. And check out Isaiah's YouTube channel as well, which is Fried Chicken and Rice. And that's all we got. So until then, see you at Nationals.
See ya.
Woo! Later, guys.
See.